Hello, my name is Jessica Colabello. I am the children's librarian here at La Vista Public Library. I'm going to be teaching you how to crochet today by showing you how to make a coaster or a washcloth. Uh, both of the patterns for both of these are very similar. One is just larger and the other one's just smaller. So today I'm going to be making the coaster. And if you want to make the coaster, it's going to be 12 stitches by 12 rows, and the washcloth is 24 stitches by 24 rows. So basically it's just this doubled in size. First thing you need to know is how to hold a crochet hook. There are multiple ways to hold a crochet hook, and really it's just your personal preference, whatever feels right. You're going to be holding it in your dominant hand. So I'm right-handed and I'm going to hold it in my right hand. If you're left-handed, go ahead and hold it in your left hand. Just be aware that everything I'm showing you is going to be flipped. All right, so there are two ways basically. One is called the knife method, which is like if you were holding a knife, this is how you would hold the crochet hook. One is called the pencil method, and it's like if you were holding a pencil. So go ahead, when you're crocheting, go ahead and try different ways of holding the hook, and just to see what your personal preference is. There's no wrong way or right way. Whatever works, works. All right, next thing we need to know is how we can hold the yarn. And again, this is personal preference. There are different ways to hold the yarn, and you're going to be holding it in your non-dominant hand, which means for me, I'm going to be holding it in my left hand since I am right-handed. So the most popular way, and again, it's personal preference, is you loop it around. You take the yarn, loop it around your pinky finger, run it up your ring finger and middle finger, and then bring it between your middle finger and your index finger, and then just have it lay on your index finger like this. Again, it's personal preference. I personally like to wrap it around my index finger twice. That's my personal preference. Again, try out different ways as you're going along, and what works for you works for you. Next thing we need to learn is how to make a slip knot. You're going to start your project with a slip knot. And if you don't know how to make a slip knot, here's how to make one. So you're just going to make a circle. So here's my circle. You want to make sure you have about 12 inches for the tail. So go ahead and unravel about 12 inches, make a circle, and you're going to insert your hook into the circle. And you're going to draw this part of the yarn with your hook through the circle like this. And you're going to make a loop by tightening the two tails like this. And so now you have a big slip knot. And to tighten that, to make it fit on the hook better, you're just gonna pull, gently tug on both of the tails in opposite directions like that. And you don't want it to be too tight. You wanna be able to move it around. So if it's too tight, you have it too tight, it's not gonna be able to move around very much. You want it to be able to move around freely on the hook, but you don't want it to fall off. So as long as it can move around freely on the hook, you're fine and not gonna fall off. That's good. So next we're gonna learn how to make a chain stitch. So we're gonna go ahead with the yarn connected to the rest of the yarn. We're gonna go ahead and situate however we prefer to hold our yarn in our non-dominant hand. And then with our middle and thumb, we're gonna go ahead and pinch the other tail just so that we can stabilize the chain stitches as we're going along. This helps make sure that we're not moving all around. This just helps us stay put and helps us make our chain stitch. So make sure you're pinching it between your middle and thumb or whatever works best for you. This just helps us. So first we're gonna do, to make our chain stitch, we're gonna go ahead and do a yarn over. And a yarn over is basically, you're gonna take the yarn on your finger that you're holding in your non-dominant hand. You're gonna bring it behind the hook and bring it up front. So that is a yarn over. Again, we're just bringing it behind the hook, up to the top, and to the front, down. So behind, up, front, down. Now the next part of the chain stitch, so we have our yarn over. So the next part of the chain stitch, we're just gonna rotate the hook towards you, and you're gonna pull the yarn over through the loop of the slip knot. And there we go. We have our first chain stitch. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go look at our pattern on the next page. And we have coaster pattern. So with your main color, to start the coaster, you make a slip knot and you're gonna chain 13. So we have one chain stitch already. So we need to make 12 chain stitch, 12 more chain stitches. So again, we're gonna go ahead and repeat that pattern of yarn over and pulling through. So we're gonna go ahead and yarn over, turn your hook towards you and pull through. So yarn over, turn the hook towards you and pull through the loop. So you're gonna go ahead, yarn over, turn the hook towards you, pull through the loop. So we're gonna go ahead, yarn over, turn the hook and pull through. And as you go, you can go ahead and move your middle and thumb up the chain to help it keep stabilized. So go ahead, yarn over, turn the hook, pull through, yarn over, turn the hook and pull through, yarn over, turn the hook, pull through, yarn over, turn the hook, pull through. And as you go, you can kind of see the chain stitches. So each chain stitch makes a V shape, and that's how you can count the chain stitches as you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and count really quick. I'm gonna count the V's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna make, how many do I need? 13, so I'm gonna make 4 more. 10, so yarn over, pull through, that's 11, yarn over, pull through, that's 12, yarn over, pull through, and that's 13. All right, so I'm gonna bring back my coaster. Let's do this one. So I'm gonna bring back my coaster, and as I said earlier, it's gonna be 12 stitches wide and 12 rows long. And we made 13 stitches, and that last chain stitch, it acts as a ladder to get us to the next row. So basically, we're gonna be working back and forth as we build up the rows until we get to 12 rows. And at the end of each row, it's gonna tell us to chain 1 and turn, and that extra stitch acts as a ladder to get us to the next row. So that's why we chain 13 instead of 12. So we have our chain stitches. You can see that they make a V. And if we hold them sideways, you can see that they make bumps too. So we are going to be making our first single crochet stitch. So as you can see, here's our first chain stitch. Here's our second chain stitch. We're going to be going ahead and inserting our hook into that second chain stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the stitch. And we're going to go ahead. Let me get my fingers ready. So go ahead and insert that hook into that second chain stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch. So now you should have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull that yarn through the 2 loops, and that is your first single crochet stitch. All right, so let's go do that again. So we're going to do single crochet stitches all the way across. So here is my next chain stitch right here. So here's the one that we just did. Here's the one that we're going to go into next right here. So we're just going to go right under that first leg of the V. We're going to yarn over, pull through the stitch. So we have 2 loops. You're going to yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops. So go ahead and insert your hook into the next chain stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. So go ahead and insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, yarn over, sorry, I lost that. Pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Insert, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. So we now have 12 single crochet stitches all the way across. And again, at the end of each row, we're going to want to chain 1 and turn our work. And that's just as turning, basically, again, you're just turning it like a page in a book. That extra chain stitch acts as a ladder to get us to the next row. So now we are looking at the back of all those single crochet stitches we just did. We're going to go ahead and do single crochet stitches all the way across, and then we'll do chain 1 and turn at the end too. So I'm going to go ahead, insert into this very first stitch, and you can kind of see at the top it makes those V shapes again. So we're just going right under those V shapes. So we're going to insert our hook. You can see we're at the top is that V shape. We're going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. So we're just going to do that all the way across. Also notice that I'm holding the work with my thumb and between my thumb and middle finger. So we want to make sure that you're pinching the work with your thumb and middle finger too. That helps stabilize it, and it's not going to be going all over the place too. Here's our last stitch. It looks a little weird just because it's a little bit curved. So as you can see, there's V shapes at the top, sideways V's. You can count the V's to make sure you have the correct number of stitches. So at the end of each row, again, we're going to go ahead and chain one, which is yarn over and pull through the one single loop. And that's going to act as a ladder to get us to the third row. So and make sure you turn your work. So as you can see here, we're just building up the rows. And we're just going to be going back and forth until we get to 12 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next rows really fast, and then we'll go ahead and skip to the last row, and I'll show you how to finish. All right, we're on our last row. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to do single crochets until the last stitch. So go ahead and do single crochets all the way across to the end. All right, so you did your last single crochet, and we're not going to end with the chain one or anything else. So we're just going to go ahead. You have this loop on your hook, so go ahead and pull the loop until you have about like 6 inches. You're going to take a pair of scissors and cut, and you're going to pull the rest of the tail connected to the yarn out, so you should have the 6-inch tail. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and weave in the tails and hide them into our work. So go ahead, take out your yarn needle, thread, go ahead and thread it. And if you can look at our work, you can see here that there are little V's. So here, I should do it this way, that way you can see the actual V. So you can see the V's like right here. We're going to go ahead and take our needle. We're going to go underneath those V's. So go ahead, pick up your work if you need to. Go ahead and bring that needle underneath those V's. I like to go, so go ahead and go about like 6 V's across. Sometimes it's easier doing it upside down too. So as you can see, oh, so there's the V's. You want to make sure you're not going to be tugging too tight because you don't want it to bunch up. So I'm 4 V's across. Go. So you can kind of see, if you're looking for it, you can see the extra string going across those V's. Now, to make sure our work is really secure and it's not going to come out, we're going to go back. So we're going to go ahead and skip the last V that we did. So we're going to skip this V, and we're going to go back through here. That way it really anchors the string in there. It's not going to come loose. You only need to go about 3 V's back. And you want to make sure you're not bunching it, holding it up too tight so it bunches, because otherwise it's going to look weird. So make sure if that happens, all you just need to do is stretch it out like that. There you go. So you're going to go ahead. You want to bunch it up a little bit at the end so that way you can hide the tail. You're going to take your scissors and cut as close as you can. And then just kind of pull and stretch it out. And then the tail hides behind one of those V's. So there we go. So we have all of our tails woven in. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to make a border all the way across, all the way along the sides. So you can kind of tell by our sides, it's not as neat as the border sides are. It's a little bit rough, so we're going to go ahead and hide that by doing single crochet stitches all the way around. And to do that, we're going to go ahead, grab your second color of yarn, we're going to insert our hook into a corner. So I'm going to do the corner of the last row. Depending where you put your hook, you're going to be doing the row or the sides. So we're going to go ahead, insert our hook into the corner, and we're going to go ahead, pull the yarn through, and we're going to make a chain stitch. We're going to make 2 chain stitches. We'll make sure that it pull on the other tail to make sure it's nice and tight and it's not going to go anywhere. So we're going to do single crochet stitches all the way across until right before the next corner stitch. So go ahead, do single crochet stitches all the way across. So we're here at the last stitch. So what we're going to do in this last stitch, we're going to single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet again in that same stitch. And that brings us from this side to this side. So it's nice and rounded. All right, so single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet again. That makes it a nice corner. See how it just kind of lays nice and flat? So now we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do single crochets all down this, these rows. And we're just going to insert our hook into each row all the way down. And then we have our corner. And again, we're going to do that single crochet, chain one, single crochet, all in the same corner stitch. So I did the single crochet, chain one, single crochet, and we're going to go work down all the way down that row, the next side. We're going to work all the way down the next side until we get to that corner stitch and do the same thing there. Here's our corner stitch. I'm going to go ahead, single crochet, chain one, single crochet into the same stitch. And we're going to go down this last side again, just single crochets until the very last stitch. Again, it's that side, it's the sides of the rows. So again, we're just going in between the spaces, between the chain ones and the first single crochet stitch. All right, so here is the last corner stitch. What we're going to do is do a single crochet, a chain stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. I'll show you guys how to do that. So we're going to go into that corner stitch, do a single crochet, and you're going to do a chain stitch, and now we're going to do a slip stitch into the beginning chain stitch of the border. So we're going to insert our hook into just underneath the chain stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull it through both the stitch and the loop on your hook. Again, you're going to pull it through both the stitch and the loop on your hook, and that is how you do a slip stitch. So now we're just going to go ahead, make a 6-inch tail, go ahead and cut it off and pull through. So now we have these two tails. We're just going to go ahead and weave them in again on the back here. We're just going to weave them into the V's. And do that really quick. Take your yarn needle, thread it, just go right through the back here to hide the tails. Stretch that out. And then we're going to go back again by skipping that first V-stitch back. Just go 3 V's back. That'll help us secure and make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. Again, we're going to go ahead and cut as closely as possible to hide that end. All right. So we're going to take this tail, we're going to go down the side here.
And go down the side here, go about 6, 7 stitches in. my nose does make sure that it's really going to stay there and it's not going to come out of my mouth. So again, go ahead with the scissors as close as possible to hide that tail. Let me put it out a little bit.
And there you go. You have your coaster, or you have a nice washcloth. You should have enough yarn to make both a coaster and a washcloth. So if you want to make the coaster first, just test it out, and then you can try doing a washcloth once you get the hang of all the stitches. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at jcolabello@cityoflavista.org. Or you can contact me here at the library at La Vista Public Library. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.